Okay, guys. So we are back. Now we are done with Tomb Raider. We're going to be going into Mass Effect. For those of you guys who don't know what this is, it's a space-based RPG game by BioWare, the same guys who do Dragon Age and made Knights of the Old Republic. But the cool thing about the series is that your save transfers from game to game, and what happens in next games is affected by decisions that you made in the previous games. So it's kind of like the Telltale games, except instead of between episodes, it's between actual full-scale games. So, and Mass Effect 1 has been backwards compatible for a while now, but the other two games weren't until a couple days ago because they weren't sure how they were going to do backwards compatible with games that were multi-disc. The Mass Effect 2 and 3 were both on 2 discs, and they didn't know how they were going to do that. And basically what happened is I just put the disc in for 2 and it just downloaded the game, but you had to have the disc in to for it to acknowledge that you still have to have the disc in to play it if you have the physical version of it. But it just downloaded the whole game. So have you played these games before?
Yes and no. I have only briefly touched on the franchise because I was playing it for friend's house at the time I didn't even Xbox. And I haven't had a chance to sit down and play them myself.
So was it 1 that you played?
One, yep. And
Yes.
I have one, I just haven't had a chance to do my own save yet.
Yes. Well, that's cool because the story in these games is awesome. So, the fact that you'll be able to experience it the first time through here is really cool. But the gameplay in the first one is kind of rough, but
Welcome to
2 and 3 are a
Military
lot
Database.
better in that regard.
Classified information requested. Establishing secure connection.
So go through,
Secure connection.
kick it right off with the character creation here. So that's the base character there, John Shepard. But gonna mix it up a little bit.
Please log in to access your profile.
Oh.
Warning, data corruption detected. Please reconstruct profile. Confirm pre-service history.
So you have 2 different sets of history things that you can choose. Spacer, colonist, and earthborn. Kind of like how you grew up. So I'm gonna be a spacer. So I grew up a military brat on ship to ship. Both
Confirm
my parents are in the
psychological
Navy.
profile.
And I'm also gonna do, and here you have kind of what your history in the military is. It gives you different backgrounds, and you have different missions that you do depending on both of these things, and different dialogue choices. But I'm gonna go with Sole Survivor. Your squad got ambushed, and you were the only one to make it out
Confirm
alive.
Military specialization.
And just because I happened to choose the first 2 in both of those things, without me being lazy, I actually went through and did like a random number generator to decide what stuff I was gonna do for this playthrough. It just happened to work out that way.
Really thought this through. I'm impressed.
Well, I wanted to do something different. I've mostly done soldier run-throughs with like the default background and stuff, but I wanted to do something a little bit different with this playthrough of it. So I'm gonna do a engineer run-through with this one, which might be a little rough in Mass Effect 1 just because of the way the abilities work, but he actually has a lot of really cool stuff that he can do in the later games. Combat drones and turrets he can set up and all kinds of cool abilities. And it's your bonus talent, which
Confirm
I don't really have a lot of good
identification.
options with the stuff I've unlocked. But probably won't use sniper rifles, but whatever. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
What's on the chest?
Cause I'm too lazy to actually go through and do every single setting to try and come up with someone who I want to be. I just cycle through the presets.
Profile reconstruction
Come up with someone.
complete.
Oh right. Confirm.
Identification confirmed.
Yeah, let's kick this off.
Well, what about Shepard? He's a spacer, lived aboard starships most of his life.
Military service runs in the family. Both his parents were in the Navy.
He saw his whole unit die on a cruise. He could have some serious emotional scars.
Every soldier has scars. Shepard's a survivor.
Is that the kind of person we want protecting the galaxy?
That's the only kind of person who can protect the galaxy.
Both of his voices sound
I'll make the call.
Yeah, I'm not sure who they are, but the civilizations of the galaxy call it Mass Effect. Which isn't really true, because you never hear anyone call it that through the entire course of the games.
so like a 90s show intro between the music and like
The Arcturus Prime relay is in range. Initiating transmission sequence. We are connected. Calculating transit mass and destination.
No, seriously, that was
I
Relay is
don't
on.
know.
Acquiring approach vector.
Maybe.
All
I have
stations
no idea.
secure for transit.
it's not jarring. Did you ever see the video of the kids at the playground
Board is green.
and
Approach run has begun.
had like a scale replica of the city. And dad's like, here's next to it. And France. And the other kid, like, he says it to the one kid. And the other kid comes running up, Dad, where's my anus?
2.
So good.
Thrusters, check. Navigation, check. Internal emissions sync engaged. All systems online.
That's not green.
Drift,
Yeah.
just under 1500K.
Yep, he plays Joker.
1500 is good. Your captain will be pleased.
I hate that guy.
Nihilus gave you a compliment. So you hate him.
You remember to zip up your jumpsuit on the way out of the bathroom? That's good. I just jumped us halfway across the galaxy and hit a target the size of a pinhead. So that's incredible. Besides, Spectres are trouble. I don't like having them on board. Call me paranoid.
You're paranoid. The Council helped fund this project. They have a right to send someone to keep an eye on their investment.
Yeah, that is the official story. But only an idiot believes the official story.
You always expect the worst.
Well, bad feelings are an occupational hazard. But we don't go anywhere unless there's a good reason, so... What are we doing here?
Joker, status report.
Just cleared the mass relay, Captain. Stealth systems engaged. Everything looks solid.
Good. Find a comm buoy and link us into the network. I want mission reports relayed back to Alliance brass before we reach Eden Prime.
Aye, aye, Captain. Better brace yourself, sir. I think Nihilus is headed your way.
He's already here, Lieutenant. Tell Commander Shepard to meet me in the comm room for a debriefing.
You get that, Commander?
He sounds angry. Something must have gone wrong with the mission.
Captain always sounds like that when he's talking to me.
Can't possibly imagine why.
So I also there's a morality system in this game. It's not technically good and evil. It's Paragon and Renegade, which is supposed to be like the Paragon character tries to like negotiate and tries to follow the law and doesn't use violence unless it's necessary, as the Renegade is, you know, more violent and more willing to cut corners and that kind of stuff. I'll mostly be doing a Paragon run-through, mostly because I can't stand doing Renegade in this first game. They were a lot better with it later on, but in the first game, so much of the Renegade dialogue just makes you out to be like a xenophobic douche. Whereas, like, in 2 and 3, they were a lot better with it just being, like, the Renegade guy is just kind of like, fuck it, I don't have time to deal with this shit. And is just kind of a badass, but in the first one, I can't really bring myself to do it most of the time.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Roughly 1,200 years ago, the Turians were invited to join the Citadel Council to fulfill the role of galactic peacekeepers. The Turians have the largest fleet in Citadel.
So we've got the Codex,
make up the single largest
where it gives you background
forces.
information
As
on
their territory and
the various
influence has spread,
races.
The Turians have come to rely on the Solarians for military intelligence and the Asari for diplomacy. Despite a somewhat colonial attitude towards the rest of the galaxy,
It might be the same
the
person.
ruling hierarchy understands they would lose more than they would gain if the other two races were ever removed. Turians come from an autocratic society that values discipline and possesses a strong sense of personal and collective honor. There is lingering animosity between Turians and humans over the First Contact War of 2157, which is known as the Relay 314 incident to the Turians. Officially, however, the two species are allies, and they enjoy civil, if cool, diplomatic relations.
So that's one of the 3 major council races, the Turians.
The Systems Alliance is an independent supranational government representing the interests of humanity as a whole. The Alliance is responsible for the governance and defense of all extrasolar colonies and stations. The Alliance grew out of the various national space programs as a matter of practicality. Sol's planets had been explored and exploited through piecemeal national efforts. The expense of colonizing entire new solar systems could not be met by any one country. With humans knowing that alien contact was inevitable, there was enough political will to jointly fund an international effort. Still, the Alliance was often disregarded by those on Earth until the First Contact War. While the national governments dithered and bickered over who should lead the effort to liberate Shanxi, the Alliance fleet struck decisively. Post-war public approval gave the Alliance the credibility to establish its own parliament and become the galactic face of humanity.
So I will probably play the primary codex entries, but I'm not gonna like read out the secondary codex entries for you guys. they're, as you could probably guess by the fact that they're called secondary entries, they're less important. Just kind of extra background information on the world. This particular one, I'm talking about your personal history. A timeline of the Systems Alliance. So, if you're interested in any of that information, it's all on the Mass Effect wiki. So they have the full codexes for all of the games. I'm actually going to...
Congratulations, Commander. Looks like we had a smooth run. You heading down to see the captain?
Sounds like you don't trust our Turian guest.
Sorry, Commander. Just having a chat with Adams down at engineering. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. But you have to admit, something's odd about this mission. The whole crew feels it.
You think the Alliance brass is holding out on us?
If all we're supposed to do is test out the stealth system, why is Captain Anderson in charge? And then there's Nihilus. Spectres are elite operatives, top covert agents. Why send a Spectre, a Turian Spectre, on a shakedown run? It doesn't add up.
What do you know about the stealth systems?
I just know it masks our location from scans and sensors. Cutting edge.
This is a very talky game,
Normandy's the only
guys, so I apologize in advance.
But why are we fully staffed? A skeleton crew would be cheaper, less chance of security leaks too. Plus there's Nihilus. It's pretty obvious this shakedown run is just a cover.
For what?
Damned if I know, Commander. We're out here on false pretenses. I'm not a fan of being left in the dark.
It's funny because they're in space.
Do you have a problem with the captain?
No, sir. But I can't figure out what he's doing here. Captain Anderson is one of the most decorated Special Forces officers in the service. If he melted down all his medals, he could make a life-size statue of himself.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
A soldier like that on a do-nothing mission. He's treating this shakedown run too seriously. Something big is going on.
You don't trust Nihilus?
I don't like Turians in general. It runs in my family. My grandfather fought in the First Contact War. Lost a lot of friends when the Turians hit us.
That was 30 years ago. You can't blame Nihilus for that.
No, I guess not. But it still makes me nervous to have a Spectre on board. Especially a Turian. We're an Alliance vessel, human military, but Nihilus doesn't answer to the captain like the rest of us. Spectres operate outside the normal chain of command.
It's cool. One of the cool things about these games is that you can change people's opinions about stuff through the course of the game. So, like, depending on how you are, you can either encourage his racism, or, you know, by the end of the game, you can change him into someone who's, like, completely accepting of aliens.
I'll see if I can get some answers when I see him.
Good luck, Commander.
Humanity's first contact with an alien race occurred in 2157. At that time, the Alliance allowed survey fleets to activate any dormant mass relays discovered, a practice considered dangerous and irresponsible by Council-aligned races. When a Turian patrol discovered a human fleet attempting to activate a relay, they attacked. One human vessel survived, retreating to the colony of Shanxi. The Turians followed, quickly defeating the local forces. Shanxi was occupied, the first and to date only human world to be conquered by an alien species. The Turians believed the handful of ships they defeated represented the bulk of human defenses, so they were unprepared when the Second Fleet, under Admiral Castany Drescher, launched a strong counteroffensive, evicting them from Shanxi. The Turians mobilized for full-scale war, drawing the attention of the rest of the galaxy. The Council quickly intervened, forcing a truce. Fortunately for humanity, the First Contact War was ended with a diplomatic solution.
I grew up on Eden Prime, Doc. It's not the kind of place Spectres visit. There's something Nihilus isn't telling us about. What do you think, Commander? We won't be staying on Eden Prime too long, will we? I'm itching for some real action.
I sincerely hope you're kidding, Corporal. Your real action usually ends with me patching up crew members in the infirmary.
You need to calm down, Corporal. A good soldier stays cool, even under fire.
Sorry, Commander, but
Leroy Jenkins!
I've never been on a mission like this before, not one with a Spectre on board.
Just treat this like every other assignment you've had and everything will work out.
Easy for you to say. You proved yourself on a cruise. Everybody knows what you can do. This is my big chance. I need to show the brass what I can do.
You're young, Corporal. You have a long career ahead of you. Don't do something stupid to mess it up.
Don't worry, sir. I'm not gonna screw this up.
What can you tell me about Nihilus?
Turians are generally well respected by the other species. Their fleet has more patrols protecting Citadel space than any other. They don't always get on well with us, though. Some people find them too rigid. Others still blame them for the First Contact War. As for Nihilus, I haven't said more than 2 words to him. He usually only speaks to the captain.
I hope we get a chance to see him in action. I heard Nihilus took down an entire enemy platoon all by himself.
Well, James Bond type.
The Spectres?
Only what I've heard. Spectre agents work
So
directly
he took
for the
down a whole
Citadel
platoon
Council.
all by
They usually work
himself.
alone or in
Like a
small
real
groups.
James Bond type there.
Spectres don't have any official power, though. Basically, they're a shadow organization with a mandate to preserve and protect galactic stability.
Protect it at any cost. Don't forget that part. Spectres operate above the law.
How do you control agents with unlimited power?
I suppose the Council could revoke the Spectre status of an agent who got out of hand. At that point, Citadel Security Services would take over.
Those C-Sec grunts wouldn't stand a chance. The Spectres were 20 ordinary soldiers. The Spectres police themselves. An agent goes rogue, they send another agent to take him down. That's Spectre justice.
The Corporal's confusing romantic legends with reality, Commander.
Why don't we have any of our own people in there?
Spectres usually come from the Council races, like the Turians. We've been trying to get a human accepted into their ranks for years now. So far, it hasn't happened.
Hey, Commander, you'd make a good Spectre. They're always getting dropped into
Oh,
impossible
foreshadowing at
situations,
all?
forced to survive unbeatable odds, just like you on a cruise.
I try not to think about a cruise.
Sorry, Commander. I didn't mean to offend you. I respect what you did there. We all do.
Let's not dwell on the past, Commander. Was there something else you needed?
You're from Eden Prime, aren't you, Jenkins? What's it like?
It's very peaceful, Commander. They've been real careful with development, so you don't have any city noise or pollution. My parents lived on the outskirts of the colony. At night, I used to climb this big hill and stare across the fields back at the lights from the main settlement. It was gorgeous. But when I got older, I realized it was a little too calm and quiet for me. That's why I joined the Alliance. Even paradise gets boring after a while.
Any idea why Eden Prime was chosen as our destination?
Not really sure, Commander. Eden Prime's one of our most stable colonies. Good place to take the Normandy for a shakedown run, I guess. No real danger there. There's gotta be something else going on. We've got a Spectre on board. That's why I'm so wound up. I can't wait for the real mission to start.
The captain's waiting for me.
Goodbye, Commander.
I've only taken like I've only taken like 10 minutes talking to you guys. I really need to go talk to the captain.
Spectres are agents from the Office of Special Tactics and Reconnaissance and answer only to the Citadel Council. They are elite military operatives, granted the authority to deal with threats to peace and stability in whatever way they deem necessary. They operate independently or in groups of 2 or 3. Some are empathetic peacekeepers, resolving disputes through diplomacy. Others are cold-blooded assassins, ruthlessly dispatching problem individuals. All get the job done one way or another, often operating outside the bounds of galactic law. The Spectres were founded after the Solarians joined the Council. For many years, they operated in secrecy as backroom problem solvers. Only after the Krogan rebellions did their activities become publicized. Assignment of a Spectre is less contentious than a military deployment, but makes it clear that the Council is concerned about a situation.
Alright.
Commander Shepard, I was hoping you'd get here first. It will give us a chance to talk.
What about?
I'm interested in this world we're going to, Eden Prime. I've heard it's quite beautiful.
I've never been there.
But you know of it. It's become something of a symbol for your people, hasn't it? Proof that humanity can not only establish colonies across the galaxy, but also protect them. But how safe is it, really?
Do you know something?
Your people are still newcomers, Shepard. The galaxy can be a very dangerous place. Is the Alliance truly ready for this?
I think it's about time we told the commander what's really going on.
This mission is far more than a simple shakedown run.
I figured there was something you weren't telling us.
No shit.
We're making a covert pickup on Eden Prime. That's why we needed the stealth systems operational.
There must be a reason you didn't tell me about this, sir.
This comes down from the top, Commander. Information strictly on a need-to-know basis. A research team on Eden Prime unearthed some kind of beacon during an excavation. It was Prothean.
I thought the Protheans vanished 50,000 years ago.
Their legacy still remains. The mass relays, the Citadel, our ship drives. It's all based on Prothean technology.
This is big, Shepard. The last time humanity made a discovery like this, it jumped our technology forward 200 years. But Eden Prime doesn't have the facilities to handle something like this. We need to bring the beacon back to the Citadel for proper study.
Obviously, this goes beyond mere human interests, Commander. This discovery could affect every species in Council space.
Are we expecting trouble?
I'm always expecting trouble.
There's more, Shepard. Nihilus isn't just here for the beacon. He's also here to evaluate you.
Guess that explains why I bump into him every time I turn around.
The Alliance has been pushing for this for a long time. Humanity wants a larger role in shaping interstellar policy. We want more say with the Citadel Council. The Spectres represent the Council's power and authority. If they accept a human into their ranks, it shows how far the Alliance has come.
Not many could have survived what you went through on Akuz. You showed a remarkable will to live, a particularly useful talent. That's why I put your name forward as a candidate for the Spectres.
Why would a Turian want a human in the Spectres?
Not all Turians resent humanity. Some of us see the potential of your species. We see what you have to offer to the rest of the galaxy, and to the Spectres. We are an elite group. It's rare to find an individual with the skills we seek. I don't care that you're human, Shepard. I only care that you can do the job.
Just tell me what I have to do.
I need to see your skills for myself, Commander. Eden Prime will be the first of several missions together.
You'll be in charge of the ground team. Secure the beacon and get it onto the ship ASAP. Nihilus will accompany you to observe the mission.
What do you know about the Protheans?
Just what they taught us in school. They were a technologically advanced species that ruled the galaxy 50,000 years ago. Then they vanished. Nobody really knows how or why, though I've heard plenty of theories. But everyone agrees, galactic civilization wouldn't exist without them.
Their citadel is the very heart of galactic society, and without their mass relays, interstellar travel would be impossible. We all owe the Protheans a great debt.
I'd like to know more about Eden Prime before we touch down.
It's a peaceful farming world, but it represents something much bigger. Eden Prime is one of our oldest and most successful colonies. It proved we were ready to face the challenges of settling new worlds, to forge a place for humanity beyond Earth. It symbolizes humanity's growth and evolution as a space.
I wonder if anything negative is possibly going to happen.
It will be known as the world where humans made a discovery of galactic importance.
You're talking about how peaceful and important this world is.
Why is this beacon so important?
All advanced galactic civilization is based on Prothean technology, even yours.
If we hadn't discovered those Prothean ruins buried on Mars, we'd still be stuck on Earth. That was just a small data cache. Who knows what we can learn from this beacon? What if it's a weapons archive? We can't let it fall into the wrong hands.
Like who?
The Attican Traverse isn't the most stable sector of Citadel space. There are plenty of raiders and criminal groups active in the region. They might figure a Prothean beacon is is worth the risk of attacking an Alliance ship. Plus, Eden Prime is right on the border of the Terminus systems.
The Attican Traverse is under Citadel protection. If the Terminus systems attack, it's an act of war.
Technically, yes. But some of the species in the Terminus might be willing to start a war over this.
The last thing the Council wants is to get dragged into a major conflict with the Terminus systems. We have to keep this low-key.
Just give the word, Captain.
We should be getting close to Eden.
Captain, we got a problem.
What's wrong, Joker?
That's a shocker.
Transmission from Eden Prime, sir. You better see this.
Oh boy.
Bring it up on screen.
Get down!
We are under attack, taking heavy casualties. I repeat, heavy casualties. We can't. Need evac. They came out of nowhere. We need.
Everything cuts out after that. No comm traffic at all. Just goes dead. There's nothing.
Reverse and hold at 38.5. Status report.
17 minutes out, Captain. No other Alliance ships in the area.
Take us in, Joker, fast and quiet. This mission just got a lot more complicated.
A small strike team can move quickly, without drawing attention. It's our best chance to secure the beacon.
Grab your gear and meet us in the cargo hold. Tell Alenko and Jenkins to suit up, Commander. You're going in.
Engaging stealth systems. Somebody was doing some serious digging here, Captain.
Your team's the muscle in this operation, Commander. Go in heavy and head straight for the dig site.
What about survivors, Captain?
Helping survivors is a secondary objective. The beacon's your top priority.
Approaching drop point 1.
Nihilus, you coming with us?
I move faster on my own.
Nihilus will scout out ahead. He'll feed you status reports throughout the mission. Otherwise, I want radio silence.
We've got his back, Captain.
The mission's yours now, Shepard. Good luck!
We are approaching drop point 2.
And now we finally get to actual gameplay.
"50,000 years ago, the Protheans were the only spacefaring species in the galaxy. They vanished in a swift galactic extinction. Only the legacy of their empire remains. They are believed to have built the mass relays and the Citadel, which have allowed numerous species to explore and expand throughout the galaxy. Prothean ruins are found on worlds across the galaxy. While surprisingly intact for their age, functioning examples of Prothean paleotechnology are rare. Time and generations of looters have picked their dead cities and derelict stations clean. Some believe the Protheans meddled in the evolution of younger races. The Hanar homeworld of Kajay, for example, shows clear evidence of former Prothean occupation. The presence of a former Prothean observation post on Mars has caused a rebirth of interventionary evolutionists among humans. These individuals believe the god myths of ancient civilizations are misremembered encounters with aliens. The terminus systems are located on the far side of the Attican Traverse, beyond the space administered by the Citadel Council or claimed by the Human Systems Alliance. It is populated by a loose affiliation of minor species, united only in their refusal to acknowledge the political authority of the Council or adhere to the Citadel Conventions. Their independence comes at a price. The terminus is fraught with conflict. War among the various species is common, as governments and dictators constantly rise and fall. The region is a haven for
So it's
illegal
essentially Mad
activities,
Max.
particularly piracy and the slave trade. At least once a year, a fleet from the terminus invades the nearby Attican Traverse. These attacks are typically small raids against poorly defended colonies. The Council rarely retaliates, as sending patrols into the terminus systems could unify the disparate species against their common foe, triggering a long and costly war.
This place got hit hard, Commander. Hostiles everywhere. Keep your guard up.
What are those?
Gas bags. Don't worry, they're harmless.
Sure. See if we believe you. Just in case.
Some action.
Just in case. Should probably kill them all. Go on, equip the upgrades.
Oh God.
Well, I mean, there is a massive alien attack going on, so...
So much for paradise.
And the moment when Jenkins lives up to his namesake.
Ripped right through his shields. Never had a chance.
We'll see that he receives a proper service once the mission is complete. But I need you to stay focused.
Aye, aye, sir.
Well, let's focus on the fact that his death caused me to level up.
Everybody wins.
Yeah. No one cares about Jenkins.
Kinetic barriers, more commonly called shields, provide protection against most mass accelerator weapons. Whether on a starship or a soldier's suit of armor, the basic principle remains the same. Kinetic barriers are repulsive mass effect fields.
One of the things that I do love about this series is like how much thought that they put into everything. Like there's so much in the codexes and everything like makes sense in the world that they've created. You know, everything
the shielding afforded by kinetic barriers
is based off of the Mass Effect technology and how you could use it to do this and this and all this various stuff.
abandoned buildings here, Shepard. A lot of bodies. I'm gonna check it out. I'll try to catch up with you at the dig site.
Okay, so everybody watching, I just wanted to quick apologize for the lack of chat. I guess it wasn't coming up for some reason, but we are able to see your comments now, so everything should be kosher, should be cool, I think. Dan has informed us that Trump is carrying Florida right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Not that that's...
Well, it is kind of, because it's it's a swing state. It's pretty close. Either one could win it. Well, they're machines. Obviously, they just like impaling humans. It's filthy organics.
I wasn't ready.
Gunnery Chief Ashley Williams of the 212. You the one in charge here, sir?
Are you wounded, Williams?
A few scrapes and burns. Nothing serious. The others weren't so lucky. We were patrolling the perimeter when the attack
Yeah,
hit.
yeah, probably.
We tried to get off a distress call, but they cut off our communications. I've been fighting for my life ever since.
Any idea what kind of enemy we're facing?
I think they're Geth.
The Geth haven't been seen outside the Veil in nearly 200 years. Why are they here now?
They must have come for the beacon. The dig site is close, just over that rise. It might still be there.
We could use your help, Williams.
Aye, aye, sir. It's time for payback.
What else do you know about the Geth?
Just what I remember from history class back in school. They're synthetics, non-organic life forms with limited AI programming, created by the Quarians a few centuries ago. They were supposed to be a source of cheap labor, but ended up turning on the Quarians and drove them into exile. Well, after that, they just kind of disappeared behind the Perseus Veil. Nobody's really heard much from them since.
Tell me everything you know about the beacon.
They were doing some digging out here to extend the monorail and expand the colony. A few weeks ago, they unearthed some Prothean ruins, and the beacon. Suddenly, every scientific expert in the colony was interested. That's when they brought us in to secure the site. I don't know much about the beacon itself, but I heard one of the researchers say this could be the biggest scientific discovery of the century.
What happened to the researchers at the dig site?
I don't know. They set up camp near the beacon. The 232 was with them. Maybe their unit fared better than mine.
Describe what happened leading up to the attack.
We were sent out a couple of nights ago from the main colony to secure the area. Seemed like a routine patrol, until the Geth hit us. We never knew they were coming.
Have you seen a Turian Spectre around here?
There aren't any Turians on Eden Prime. None that I've ever met. Not sure I'd be able to tell if one was a Spectre anyway.
If you saw this guy, you'd know. Carries enough firepower to wipe out a whole platoon. Luckily, he's on our side.
Sorry. Like I said, no Turians.
Move out.
The Geth are a humanoid race of networked AIs. They were created by the Quarians 300 years ago as tools of labor and war. When the Geth showed signs of self-evolution, the Quarians attempted to exterminate them. The Geth won the resulting war. This example has led to legal, systematic repression of artificial intelligences in galactic society. The Geth possess a unique distributed intelligence. An individual has rudimentary animal instincts, but as their numbers and proximity increase, the apparent intelligence of each individual improves. In groups, they can reason, analyze situations, and use tactics, as well as any organic race. Geth space is located at the trailing end of the Perseus Arm, beyond the lawless Terminus systems. The Perseus Veil, an obscuring dark nebula of opaque gas and dust, lies between their space and the Terminus systems.
Alright.
That's a little terrifying.
Beacon's at the far end of this trench.
Like just that idea that they get smarter the larger.
Yeah, they're like a networked intelligence.
Yeah, Dan actually texted me because I guess the chat wasn't going through.
Well, I guess since I unsnapped.
Well, I kind of thought that, with that little thing down there at the bottom, maybe something.
Oh.
Some kind of little blip or something.
Apparently not.
Yeah. Now we know.
Oh, all these people impaled on spikes.
This is the dig site. The beacon was right here. It must have been moved.
By who? Our side or the Geth?
Hard to say. Maybe we'll know more after we check out the research camp.
You think anyone got out of here alive?
If they were lucky. Maybe hiding up in the camp. It's just on the top of this ridge, up the ramps.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
I just had a really awesome typo. I accidentally put chat should be back to normal instead of chat should be back to normal.
Change of plans, Shepard. There's a small spaceport up ahead. I want to check it out. I'll wait for you there.
Combat hard suits use a dual-layer system to protect the wearer. The inner layer consists of fabric armor with kinetic padding. Areas that don't need to be flexible, such as the chest or shins, are reinforced with sheets of lightweight, ablative ceramic. The outer layer consists of automatically generated kinetic barriers. Objects traveling above a certain speed will trigger the barrier's reflex system and be deflected, provided there is enough energy left in the shield's power cell. Armored hardsuits are sealable to protect the wearer from extremes of temperature and atmosphere. Standard equipment includes an onboard mini-frame and a communications, navigation, and sensing suite. The mini-frame is designed to accept and display data from a weapon's smart targeting system to make it easier to locate and eliminate enemies.
Keep snoring.
It's a good place for an ambush. Keep your guard up.
Oh.
Oh God, they're still alive.
What did the Geth do to them?
Engaging target. All targets down.
So that would be why they stick them on the spikes.
So they screwed the drone?
Husks, but essentially zombies.
After the Geth secure a location, they round up and impale dead and living bodies on mechanical spikes. The spikes rapidly transform these victims into withered husks, extracting water and trace minerals, and replacing them with cybernetics. The cybernetics reanimate the lifeless flesh and tissue, transforming the bodies into mindless killing machines. Some Alliance soldiers refer to the husk-generating spikes as dragon's teeth, a reference to the mythological berserkers who sprang up from the earth wherever the teeth of the dragon Eris were planted. Dragon's teeth and husks bear little resemblance to other pieces of Geth technology. No one is sure why a synthetic race would bother to drain the minuscule amount of recoverable resources from organic corpses, though the value of reusing them as shock troops is obvious.
Obviously. This game available for PS3? I believe it is.
2 and 3 are. 1 was published by Microsoft, so it isn't.
Oh.
And is never going to be.
Okay, so Dan, to answer your question there,
That door.
as Colson was saying, 2 and 3 are available for PS3. 1 is not and never will be, but similar to
Thank
the
the
Wii
Maker.
U, there's some kind of thing to deal with that.
Yeah, there's Genesis, I believe it's called, which is kind of like a comic sort of thing that you plays at the beginning of Mass Effect 2 that you can use to make some of the bigger decisions in the game. What it
Don't worry.
It doesn't do.
Thank you. I think
It's not as good as an actual
looks like
save
everyone's
because,
gone.
you know,
You're
minor
Dr. Warren,
characters
the
in
one
the
in charge
first
of the
game will show
excavation.
back up.
Do you know what happened to
If
the
you
big
saved them,
It was
if
moved
you
to the
interacted
spaceport
with
this
them in
morning.
the first game, they'll show
Manuel
up in
and
the
I
second
stayed behind
game.
to help
It
pick
doesn't
up
go
the
into
camp.
that kind of detail
When the attack came,
with
the Marines held them off long
with the
enough for us to
comic.
hide. They gave their lives to save us.
No one is saved. The age of humanity is ended. Soon, only ruin and corpses will remain.
What else can you tell me about the attack?
No, I played Dead Space, and that's the guy that's gonna have an eyeball on a screwdriver in a minute.
The next we were hiding in the shed while the Geth swarmed over the camp.
Kill that guy.
Agents of the destroyers.
That is like the one piece of Dead Space that I've ever actually seen.
Really?
We could hear the
Yeah.
battle outside. Gunfire.
Oh, I think that was
screams.
in 2.
I thought
Yeah.
it'd never end. Then everything
guy,
went
like,
quiet.
that shit, and
We
he,
just
like,
sat
stabbed
there,
his eye
too
with
afraid to
screwdriver.
move,
And he was
until
just
you
waiting
came
around
along.
the screwdriver with the eye on the end of it.
Did you notice?
Oh,
the
well,
terrain
I
in the
was
area?
talking about there's a part in one of the games where, like, you have to do eye surgery on yourself and, like, put this big, like, needle into your own eye.
I'm sorry, Manuel's still a
yeah,
bit
I remember that.
unsettled. We haven't seen your Turian. We've been hiding in here since the attack.
As well?
Can you tell me anything about the beacon?
It's some type of data module from a galaxy-wide communications network, remarkably well preserved. It could be the greatest scientific discovery of our lifetime. Miraculous new technologies, groundbreaking medical advances. Who knows what secrets are locked inside?
We have unearthed the heart of evil, awakened the beast, unleashed the darkness.
Manuel, please, this isn't the time.
What's wrong with your assistant?
Manuel has a brilliant mind, but he's always been a bit unstable. Genius and madness are two sides of the same coin.
Is it madness to see the future? To see the destruction rushing towards us? To understand there is no escape, no hope? No, I am not mad. I'm the only sane one left.
I gave him an extra dose of his meds after the attack.
Just because you asked for it.
Say goodnight, Manuel.
You cannot silence the truth. My voice must be heard.
Oh my God! What did you do?
That might have been a little extreme, Commander.
You can't just go around whacking people in the head.
It was only a matter of time until he did something crazy and dangerous.
I suppose you're right. By the time he wakes up, the meds will have kicked in.
Williams, take us to the spaceport.
Good luck, Commander.
Say goodnight. He's out cold. That's bad.
Yeah.
That boy ain't right.
Saren. Nihilus. This isn't your mission, Saren. What are you doing here?
The Council thought you could use some help on this one.
I wasn't expecting to find the Geth here. The situation's bad.
Don't worry. I've got it under control.
Oh no! Nihilus!
What is that? Off in the distance.
Something bad. His red lightning bolts coming off of it. Probably something.
Pretty good guess.
And to answer your question, I think that was kind of just an example. Yes, so you have to save people in this one in order to have them in the next.
Well, yeah, there are people that come back, there are events that get referenced if you did them in this game and you didn't do them in the next one. And sometimes you do a good thing in this game and it comes back and bites you in the ass in 2 or 3. And sometimes you do a bad thing in this one and it'll end up being a good thing for the later games.
For example, if we had let Manuel stay conscious, he probably would have done some crazy shit and possibly come back to haunt us in 2 or 3, but maybe now he'll stay sedated for a good while.
Everybody stay calm out there.
Not really.
We're coming out. We're not.
There is actually a reference
Is it safe? Are they gone?
to him later on, but it's just kind of like a little Easter egg thing. It's nothing explicit. Yeah.
Dan also asked, have we
You're
played
okay now.
through this
Nobody's gonna
before?
hurt you.
I have
Those
not.
things were crawling
I
all
believe
around the
we played
shed.
through all
They
of them,
would've found
right?
us
Yes, I've played all
They were
3.
lives.
I still can't believe it. When we saw that ship, I thought it was all over.
It showed up right before the attack. Knew it was trouble the second I saw it, so we made a break for the sheds.
Tell me everything you remember about the attack.
The 3 of us were working the crops when that ship showed up. We just saw it and ran. I don't know what happened to the rest of the crew.
They were by the garage, over near the spaceport, right where that ship came down. No way they survived.
You don't know that. We survived. If they made it to the garage, they could have had a fighting chance.
Do you know anything about the Prothean beacon they dug up?
We're just farmers. We heard they found something out there, but it never really mattered to us. Not until now.
What else can you tell me about the ship you saw?
I was too busy running to get a clear look at it. I think it landed over near the spaceport.
Tell them about the noise, Cole. That awful noise.
It was emitting some kind of signal as it descended. It sounded like the shriek of the damned. Only it was coming from inside your own head.
It was probably trying to block communication.
Dan wants to know.
Whatever it was,
wants to make
felt
sure
like it
we
was
know
tearing
what
right
we're
through my
doing.
skull. Almost made it impossible to think.
Well, like I said, I've played the game before. Whether I know what I'm doing, I mean, that's a question. Yeah, that's a very
I have to go.
large-scale philosophical question. I'm not sure I have the answer to.
Maybe we should give them the stuff.
Jeez, Blake, you gotta learn when to shut up.
And Dan, to answer that
You have
question,
something to tell me, Cole?
Some guys
it will
in the
actually
spaceport
be
were
up
running a small
probably
smuggler.
tonight.
Nothing
The
major.
conclusion
Exchange
of
for a
our
cut of the
Tomb
profits,
Raider,
we let them store
Rise of the
packages
Tomb
in our
Raider
sheds.
run-through. I'm processing some videos right now.
What kind of packages?
I found a
the
pistol.
daily grind and stuff.
Figured it would
and,
come in handy if those things came
That
back.
will be another one that
You'll
gets
probably
done
get more
tonight.
use out of it than we will.
And now you see, one of the mechanics of this game is if you have enough points in either Charm or Intimidate, you can use these conversation options to usually get extra goodies from them. So, the red is the Renegade options, usually Intimidate, and then the blue is the Paragon or Charm options.
We're risking
I
our lives
deliberately
to save
pumped
this colony.
enough
You sure there's nothing else
into
in here
Charm
that can help us
because I
out?
knew that there was this
Yeah,
one coming
there's
on
one more
early on.
thing. I was gonna sell it
Coming
after
up
this was over,
early
but
on.
You probably deserve it more than I do.
Now that I'm speaking English.
Yeah, welcome back.
Who's your contact at the spaceport, Cole? What's his name?
He's not a bad guy. I don't want to get him in trouble. Besides, I'm not a snitch.
He might have something to do with this whole attack, Cole. We need his name. It's important.
Yeah, okay, you're right. His name's Powell. Works the docks at the spaceport, if he's still alive.
I have to go.
Good luck.
Alright. Let's see if this and it is. I find the way that the inventory works in this game is super frustrating and time consuming.
Why is that?
Just because, you know, you come in here and you have your various, you go through your armor and your various weapons and whatever special gear they might have, and then you've got a list of whatever you have with that, and then you click in for the various mods you can put on them. But the lists get really long, and it makes it hard. Like, theoretically, you would be able to, like, if you know you're coming up an encounter with a certain type of enemy, you'd switch out the mods to have a better chance against them. But in it's just too clunky in reality to ever actually want to do that.
Gotcha. Sub-menu.
Yeah.
Commander, it's Nihilus.
Yep, well, we're gonna go loot some more stuff before we go check on him.
Something's moving over behind those crates.
Wait! Don't shoot! I'm one of you! I'm human! Sneaking up on us like that nearly got you killed.
I am sorry, I was hiding from those creatures. My name's Powell. I saw what happened to that Turian. The other one shot him.
You're saying Nihilus was murdered by a Turian?
The other one got here first. He was waiting when your friend showed up. He called him Saren. I think they knew each other. Your friend seemed to relax. He let his guard down. And Saren killed him. Shot him right in the back. I'm just lucky he didn't see me behind the crates.
We were told a Prothean beacon was brought to the spaceport. What happened to it?
It's over on the other platform. Probably where that guy Saren was headed. He hopped on the cargo train right after he killed your friend. I knew that beacon was trouble. Everything's gone to hell since we found it. First that damn mothership showed up, then the attack. They killed everyone. Everyone. If I hadn't been behind the crates, I'd be dead too.
How come you're the only one who survived? Why didn't anyone else try to hide behind the crates?
They never had a chance. I was already behind the crates when the attack started.
Wait a minute. You were hiding behind the crates before the attack?
Sometimes I need a nap to get through my shift. I sneak off behind the crates to grab 40 winks where the supervisor can't find me.
You survived because you're lazy?
You ditch work. Then you cower back here and do nothing while the Geth butcher everyone else.
I don't even have a gun. What was I supposed to do? Run out there and die? I couldn't save them. Nobody could. It was horrible.
You're Cole's contact here on the docks. For the smuggling ring.
What? No! I mean, what does it matter now? So I'm a smuggler, who cares? My supervisor's dead, the entire crew's dead. Doesn't matter now, does it?
Anything hidden nearby that we could use against the Geth?
A shipment of grenades came through last week. Nobody notices if a few small pieces go missing from the military orders.
You greedy son of a bitch. We're out here trying to protect your sorry ass, and all you can think about is how you can rip us off?
I never thought you'd actually need those grenades. Who'd want to attack Eden Prime? We're just a bunch of farmers. How was I supposed to know?
Just give me the grenades.
They're yours. Take them. My smuggling days are over, I swear.
A lot of Marines died here, Powell. Those grenades could have come in handy. If I were you, I'd think of some way to make it up to them.
Yeah, okay. There is something else I was saving. Could be worth a fortune. Experimental technology, top of the line. Take it. I don't need it. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. Really, I'm sorry.
Not really what I meant, but okay.
Tell me about the Geth attack.
I kind of meant like volunteering or making a donation somewhere.
Over the platform, thousands of them. They must have been inside that mothership. They shot
Or just generally not being an asshole in the future.
Is there anything else you can tell me about the beacon?
They brought it here this morning. We loaded it up onto the train and shipped it to the other platform. Hard to believe that was only a few hours ago. Feels like a whole other life.
Tell me about this mothership you saw.
I've never seen anything like it before. It was huge. Landed over near that platform. The whole place got dark as it came down. And it was making this noise, this sound that bored right into your brain. That's what woke me up. The attack came a few minutes later.
We need to find that beacon before it's too late.
Take the cargo train.
Again, we've only wasted like 10 minutes talking to these guys. Now we desperately need to go rush after this train.
Dan informs us that Trump is carrying Ohio right now.
That's not a surprise. Ohio's become a pretty reliable red state. Because it's like Western PA is pretty reliably Republican. Because it's just that demographics. That's all of Ohio. It doesn't have the Philly and the mid-state areas to balance it out.
Lost shields!
So yeah, the ability-based classes in this game have a particularly in the beginning, are a little slow. The recharge rates on your abilities start out pretty long. So like, the whole engineer class is based around buffing and debuffing everything. So it's a little bit slower moving. Like, if I had been soldier class, I pretty much would have just charged forward and blown right through all of that. But I have to be a little bit more careful with the engineer. And this early in the game, you don't have a lot of options. Later on, you have a bunch of different abilities that you can be using on stuff.
Set the charges. Destroy the entire colony. Leave no evidence that we were here.
Well, I kind of think the evidence that you were here would be the fact that you blew up the entire colony.
Yeah. Not very...
I guess the idea would be that they wouldn't be able to identify who did it.
Demolition charges. The Geth must have planted them.
Hurry! We need to find them all and shut them down.
How convenient that I literally just need to crouch next to them to disarm them.
That's it.
I've lost shields.
And to further elaborate on your earlier question, according to YouTube, I have about 16 minutes left before our conclusion of Rise of the Tomb Raider is available to watch on and one better.
It's like about as long as the actual episode was.
Yeah, no joke. Probably.
Okay, well, Caden's dead, but what else is new? These things happen. Yeah. He almost made it through the first mission. And I don't have my revive ability yet.
There's actually 29 minutes.
I stand corrected. Oh yeah, because like the first time I went through that boss fight, I just sat there and didn't know what I was supposed to do. So that does make sense.
As soon as it's ready, Dan, I will post a link in the chat for anyone who would like our earlier episode.
Dan, if you would have actually been watching on time, you would have already seen it. I mean, I know we never start on time, but that doesn't mean that you can just ignore the stream.
Yeah, just because we're unprofessional doesn't mean you should be unprofessional. That's our thing. That's like what we do.
Because if there was one word that I would associate with Dan Miller, it is professional.
Nowadays I would. Ask me that like 6 years ago? Nah.
I'm sorry, Dan will always be the guy who ran into the dumpster and came into school telling us that he cut himself shaving.
Yeah. For the time that he shoved Devin's berry sacks in the back of Mr. Milbrand's truck.
Yes.
And it fell out going up the hill.
Yes, I remember this because you tell this story like at least once every 2 weeks.
That's not true.
That is absolutely true. I have heard you tell that story like 5 times.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
On the show?
No, not on the show. Like in real life. I don't know if you've I don't know if you've told it on the show before, but like.
Yeah. So he like shoves it in the back of the pickup truck. Truck's going up the hill and the berry sacks falls out in the middle of the street. So then like Dan goes running out to grab it and picks it up, starts coming up the hill with it as Devin comes out and is like, "What's going on with my saxophone?" And he like trips up the hill over the saxophone right in front of her. Oh my god, it was so good. He's like, "I got it." Poof. It's like Rex.
Man, if we can work it out when we're out there for the wedding, we need to have an episode with Dan, because everyone who watches these is gonna have heard a million stories about him.
All of us have vehicles.
Drive the whole way out there.
Well, we'll be going out there for the wedding anyways.
That's what she's saying, like, how are we getting to the
How
wedding?
are we getting there? Mine's leased and you guys have shit vehicles.
That's not true.
Hey, and
Coulson has a shit vehicle.
So do you.
hey, in another year I might have a different car.
I will too, but it'll be after the damn wedding if I can afford it after traveling again for another wedding the second year in a row.
We will figure something out when it happens.
In other states.
Normandy, the beacon is secure.
This is amazing. Actual working Prothean technology. Unbelievable.
It wasn't doing anything like that when they dug it up. Something must have activated it.
Roger, Normandy. Standing by.
Taking one for the team.
Shepard!
No, don't touch it. It's too dangerous.
I broke it. Way to go, Shepard.
He's a Croft.
Yeah. Everything around him explodes.
We identified the ship that touched down on Eden Prime. The Normandy, a human alliance vessel. It was under the command of Captain Anderson. They managed to save the colony.
And the beacon.
One of the humans may have used it.
This human must be eliminated.
Get to work, Admiral Boobs.
Yeah, it's a little unnecessary. But
She's like the Mass Effect version of Elvira.
Dr. Chakwas, I think he's waking up.
You had us worried there, Shepard.
that's far from the weirdest thing that's gonna go on in this game.
Dan made a very interesting point. He said, "You have no idea how much I want to be on
Mine
the
are
screen,
throbbing.
but then who would watch it?"
Nothing serious. How long was I at?
About
the guy
15
from the
hours.
Daily Grind.
Something happened down there with the beacon, I think.
It's my fault. I must have triggered some kind of security field when I approached it. You had to push me out of the way.
You had no way to know what would happen.
Actually, we don't even know if that's what set it off. Unfortunately, we'll never get the chance to find out.
The beacon exploded. A system overload, maybe. The blast knocked you cold. The lieutenant and I carried you back here to the ship.
What's the damage, Doctor?
Physically, you're fine. But I detected some unusual brain activity. Abnormal beta waves. I also noticed an increase in your rapid eye movement. Signs typically associated with intense dreaming.
I saw... I'm not sure what I saw. Death? Destruction? Nothing's really clear.
I better add this to my report. It may... Oh, Captain Anderson.
How's our XO holding up, Doctor?
Well, all the readings look normal. I'd say the commander's going to be fine.
Glad to hear it. Shepard, I need to speak with you. In private.
Aye, aye, Captain. I'll be in the mess if you need me.
Sounds like that beacon hit you pretty hard, Commander. Are you sure you're okay?
I don't like soldiers dying under my command.
Jenkins wasn't your fault. You did a good job, Shepard.
Chief Williams isn't part of the Normandy crew.
I figured we could use a soldier like her. She's been reassigned to the Normandy.
Williams is a good soldier. She deserves it.
Lieutenant Alenko agrees with you. That's why I added her to our crew.
You said you needed to see me in private, Captain?
I won't lie to you, Shepard. Things look bad. Nihilus is dead. The beacon was destroyed and Geth are invading. The Council's going to want answers.
I didn't do anything wrong, Captain. Hopefully the Council can see that.
I'll stand behind you and your report, Shepard. You're a damned hero in my books. That's not why I'm here. It's Saren, that other Turian. Saren's a Spectre, one of the best, a living legend. But if he's working with the Geth, it means he's gone rogue. A rogue Spectre's trouble. Saren's dangerous, and he hates humans.
Why?
He thinks we're growing too fast, taking over the galaxy. A lot of aliens think that way. Most of them don't do anything about it. But Saren has allied himself with the Geth. I don't know how, I don't know why. I only know it had something to do with that beacon. You were there just before that beacon self-destructed. Did you see anything? Any clue that might tell us what Saren was after?
Just before I lost consciousness, I had some kind of vision.
A vision? A vision of what?
I saw synthetics. Geth, maybe. Slaughtering people. Butchering them.
We need to report this to the Council, Shepard.
What are we gonna tell them? I had a bad dream?
We don't know what information was stored in that beacon. Lost Prothean technology? Blueprints for some ancient weapon of mass destruction? Whatever it was. Saren took it. But I know Saren. I know his reputation is politics. He believes humans are a blight on the galaxy. This attack was an act of war. He has the secrets from the beacon. He has an army of Geth at his command, and he won't stop until he's wiped humanity from the face of the galaxy.
I'll find some way to take him down.
Sounds like fun.
It's not that easy. He's a Spectre. He can go anywhere, do almost anything. That's why we need the Council on our side.
We prove Saren's gone rogue, and the Council will revoke his Spectre status.
I'll contact the Ambassador and see if he can get us an audience with the Council. He'll want to see us as soon as we reach the Citadel. We should be getting close. Head up to the bridge and tell Joker to bring us into dock.
So, what I was going to say before all that started, I forgot the punchline of that story. The thing that made it great was that all of this happened getting ready for the opening ceremonies of the Special Olympics.
The Citadel is an ancient deep space station, presumably constructed by the Protheans. Since the Prothean extinction, numerous species have come to call the Citadel home. It serves as the political, cultural, and financial capital of the galactic community. To represent their interests, most species maintain embassies on the Presidium, the Citadel's inner ring. The Citadel Tower in the center of the Presidium holds the Citadel Council chambers. Council affairs often have far-reaching effects on the rest of the galactic community. 5 arms, known as the wards, extend from the Presidium. Their inner surfaces have been built into cities, populated by millions of inhabitants from across the galaxy. The Citadel is virtually indestructible. If attacked, the station can close its arms to form a solid, impregnable shell. For as long as the station has existed, an enigmatic race called the Keepers has maintained it. Combat Medigel is a common medicinal salve used by paramedics, EMTs, and military personnel. It combines several useful applications: a local anesthetic, disinfectant, and clotting agent all in one. Once applied, the gel is designed to grip tight to flesh until subjected to a frequency of ultrasound. It is sealable against liquids, most notably blood, as well as contaminants and gases. The gel is a genetically engineered bioplasm created by the CERTA Foundation, a medical technology megacorp based on Earth. Technically, Medigel violates Council laws against genetic engineering, but to date, it has proved far too useful to ban.
Hey, Commander.
Exploding our ship.
I'm glad you're okay, Commander. The crew could use some good news after what happened to Jenkins.
Jenkins was a valuable part of this crew.
Part of me feels guilty over what happened. If Jenkins was still alive, I might not be here.
You're a good soldier, Williams. You belong on the Normandy.
Thanks, Commander. I appreciate that.
Things were pretty rough down there. Are you okay?
I've seen friends die before. Comes with being a Marine. But to see my whole unit wiped out, and you never get used to seeing dead civilians. But things would have been a lot worse if you hadn't shown up.
We couldn't have done it without you, Williams.
Thanks, Commander. I have to admit, I was a little worried about being assigned to the Normandy. It's nice when someone makes you feel welcome.
I think you're gonna fit in here just fine, Williams.
Thanks, Commander.
Based on my knowledge of knowing you for a whole 30 seconds.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
How did you end up serving on an Alliance ship?
I enlisted right out of med school. Earth always seemed boring to me. Too safe, too secure. I figured the colonies were teeming with exotic adventure. I wanted to travel the stars, tending the wounds of tough soldiers with piercing eyes and sensitive souls. Turns out military life isn't quite as romantic as I'd imagined. But humanity needs the Alliance if we want to keep expanding through the Traverse, and the Alliance always needs good doctors. So I stayed on to do my part.
Ever think you made the wrong choice?
Sometimes I think about opening a private practice back on Earth, or maybe taking a position at one of the new med centers out in the colonies. But there's something special about working on soldiers. If I left the Alliance now, I'd feel like I was abandoning them.
What do you know about Captain Anderson?
I've served with him for a few tours now.
You can.
Let things slide and went to
That is an
crack.
option, yes.
The crew knows he's seen pretty much anything they'll ever run into. And he cares about the people under his command.
This is actually the one that's the most graphic, because it
How well do you know the lieutenant?
unleashed a
worked with him before
shitstorm of
But he
controversy.
has an impressive service record.
And it's
A
not
dozen
like
special
porn,
commendations.
but like
Tends to keep to himself.
the other two
Maybe
games
because
are
of
a
the
little bit
headaches.
more
It's
tasteful
not
about
easy
their
being an
romance scenes.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, most biotics now use the L3 implants. Lieutenant Alenko was wired with the old L2 configuration. Sometimes there are complications.
What kind of complications?
Severe mental disabilities, insanity, crippling physical pain. There's a long list of horrific side effects. Caden's lucky. He just gets migraines.
Wow.
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
Yeah, that's a plot point that comes back up a couple times.
Biotics is the ability of rare individuals to manipulate dark energy and create mass effect fields through the use of electrical impulses from the brain. Intense training and surgically implanted amplifiers are necessary for a biotic to produce mass effect fields powerful enough for practical use. The relative strength of biotic abilities varies greatly among species and with each individual. There are 3 branches of biotics. Telekinesis uses mass-lowering fields to levitate or impel objects. Mass-raising kinetic fields are used to block or pin objects. Spatial
So the biotics
uses
generally
rapidly shifting
the
mass
crowd
fields
control
to shred objects. Most organic species are
of the
capable
game.
of developing biotic abilities, though there are risks
And
involved.
the tech abilities are
Biotics
buffs
are the
and
result
debuffs.
of an in utero exposure to element 0. This
And then
usually
soldiers
causes
are pure
fatal
damage.
cancers in the victim, but in rare cases, it coalesces into nodules within the fetus's developing nervous system.
Glad to see you're okay, Commander.
Yeah, I love you too, Caden. Great talk. Let's have it again sometime.
Go speak to Joker when you're ready. Tell him to bring the Normandy into dock.
So yeah, I looked it up, and the voice actor who is the Codex is a famous voiceover artist, I guess you'd say, Neil Ross. And he does a lot of documentaries, and he also does a lot of voice acting for different animations. Most recently, Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness. Yeah.
I'm glad you're okay, Commander. Losing Jenkins was hard enough.
I kind of want to watch Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness.
Why?
It sounds like just cheesy enough that it would be hilarious.
You know, you might be right.
Like, it wouldn't be... I know it's not a good movie. It would be one of those that just straddles the line where it's bad enough that it's hilarious without being unwatchable.
Yeah.
Good timing, Commander. I was just about to bring us into the Citadel. See that taxpayer money at work.
Look at the size of that ship.
The Ascension, flagship of the Citadel fleet.
Well, size isn't everything.
Why so touchy, Joker?
I'm just saying you need firepower, too.
Look at that monster. Its main gun could rip through the barriers in any ship in the Alliance fleet.
Good thing it's on our side, then.
Citadel Control, this is SSV Normandy, requesting permission to land.
Stand by for clearance, Normandy. Clearance granted. You may begin your approach. Transferring you to an Alliance operator.
Roger, Alliance Tower. Normandy out.
can see that.
Yeah.
This is an outrage.
Now, is that just you
Council would
assuming
step
that,
in
Dan,
if
or
the
do you
Geth
have personal
attacked a
knowledge?
Turian colony?
The Turians don't found colonies.
Well,
on the
yes,
walls of the
I know that about
Terminus
Sharknado.
systems, Ambassador.
Humanity was well
Yes,
aware of the
that's what
risks
I
we
was
went
asking
into
about.
the Traverse.
What about Saren? You can't just ignore a rogue Spectre. I demand action.
You don't get to make demands of the Council, Ambassador.
Citadel Security is investigating your charges against Saren. We will discuss the CSEC findings at the hearing, not before.
Captain Anderson, I see you brought half your crew with you.
Just the ground team from Eden Prime, in case you had any questions.
I have the mission reports. I assume they're accurate?
They are. Sounds like you convinced the Council to give us an audience.
They were not happy about it. Saren's their top agent. They don't like him being accused of treason.
Saren's a threat to every human colony out there. If they don't stop him, I will.
Settle down, Commander. You've already done more than enough to jeopardize your candidacy for the Spectres. The
Yes,
mission
let's
on
focus
Eden
on
Prime
what
was a
really
chance to
matters
prove you
here.
could get the job done. Instead, Nihilus ended up dead and the beacon was destroyed.
That's Saren's fault, not his.
Then we better hope the CSEC investigation turns up evidence to support our accusations. Otherwise, the Council might use this as an excuse to keep you out of the Spectres. Come with me, Captain. I want to go over a few things before the hearing. Shepard, you and the others can meet us at the Citadel Tower, top level. I'll make sure you have clearance to get in.
And that's why I hate politicians.
Speaking of politicians, this morning on the Daily Grind, for those who missed it, we inadvertently were nominated for presidential candidacy.
Except that we aren't physically going to be allowed to run for president in 2020.
The Citadel. The
Minor
Council
problem.
is an executive committee composed of representatives from the Asari republics, the Turian hierarchy, and the Solarian Union. Though they have no official
Might
power
want to get a
over
few
the
more
independent
subscribers
governments
before
of
we
other
start.
species, the Council's decisions carry great weight throughout the galaxy. No single Council race is strong enough to defy the other two, and all have a vested interest in compromise and cooperation. Each of the Council species has general characteristics associated with the various aspects of governing the galaxy. The Asari are typically seen as diplomats and mediators. The Solarians gather intelligence and information. The Turians provide the bulk of the military and peacekeeping forces. Any species granted an embassy on the Citadel is considered an associate member, bound by the accords of the Citadel Conventions. Associate members may bring issues to the attention of the Council, though they have no input on the decision. The Human Systems Alliance became an associate member of the Citadel in 2165.
Olsen, you want to take a guess what I'm drinking right now?
I don't know what this joke is supposed to be. Kool-Aid?
Oh yeah!
Yeah, I was afraid that's where that was going.
Oh my god, I can't deal with this cat's horrible noises. I want to pinch your little face.
You sound like the stereotypical aunt from like every commercial.
Oh, I haven't seen you in forever.
Yes.
You're so cute. Cute little cheeks. Last time I saw you, you were this big. I used to always feel so awkward when people would do that, like at family reunions and stuff. Be like, last time I saw you, you were this tall. I'm like, that's probably why I don't remember you, because I was this tall. I didn't know anybody. I mean, shit, I still don't. And what makes it more awkward is that I'm friends with a lot of them on Facebook. So, you know, I have a Facebook presence. I do, you know, post things fairly regularly, whereas they do not, so I kind of forget that they're there. And then they want to, like, talk to me about recent life events, and it's like, how do you know that? I don't know you like that. We didn't talk about this. They're like, oh, congratulations on your promotion. And I'm like, I haven't seen you in like 6 years. Why do you know about my work life?
It's a little weird.
Welcome to the Presidium. Allow me to be your guide.
So then this is the Citadel, the big space station where all the important people are, is the major hub area of the game. And at this point I can break off and do a lot of exploring and start unlocking some of the side missions. For now, I'm just gonna keep going with the story because we don't have that much longer left in our episode today. So, head over here to the tower and continue with the story. And now you get your first experience with one of the worst parts of Mass Effect, which is the unending elevator rides that hide loading screens.
Silent Hill got it right on the first try.
I doubt it. We've made our reports. Now we just have to trust Ambassador
Everything's
Udina.
spooky, foggy,
No,
so
we
you
don't,
don't
sir.
need loading screen. Dan just said, by the way, congrats on your promotion. I actually didn't get promoted. I was just putting that out there as an example. Would be cool though. And if I had, you'd be the first to know. Yeah, I mean, technically I was offered a promotion that I turned down, but that's because I don't want to work midnight till 7 in the morning and Saturdays.
Saren's hiding something. Give me more time. Stall them.
Stall the council.
Please.
Don't be ridiculous. Your investigation is over, Garrus.
Meow.
Commander Shepard, Garrus Vicaria here.
Wow.
I was the officer
From
in
one
charge
Ohio.
of the CSEC investigation into Saren.
Who were you just talking to?
That was Executor Palin, head of Citadel Security, my boss. He'll be presenting my findings on Saren to the council.
Sounds like you really want to bring him down.
I don't trust him. Something about him rubs me the wrong way. But he's a Spectre. Everything he touches is classified. I can't find any hard evidence.
I think the council's ready for us, Commander.
Good luck, Shepard. Maybe they'll listen to you.
I'm gonna guess not. Just a sneaking suspicion.
Don't be ridiculous. The Volus won't be joining the council for years.
I'm not so sure. The humans are making a strong push, and you can bet the Volus will be right on their coattails if they succeed.
Allowing the humans to join us is a sound strategic move. But the Volus? No. The Hanna are likely to be next, then the Elcor.
You may be right, though the Hanar need to lighten up a bit first.
You just don't like them because you have trouble understanding them.
Well, once they get talking fast.
That was even kind of funnier when he said that the Hanar need to lighten up a bit first, because they're like floating bags of gas.
Oh.
You'll see a Hanar here.
The hearing's already
Probably
started. Come on.
next week. But yeah, that's a little bit of irony to that conversation.
But there is nothing to indicate Saren was involved in any way.
The investigation by Citadel Security turned up no evidence to support your charge of treason.
An eyewitness saw him kill Nihilus in cold blood.
We've read the Eden Prime reports, Ambassador. The testimony of one traumatized dock worker is hardly compelling proof.
I resent these accusations. Nihilus was a fellow Spectre and a friend.
That just let you catch him off guard.
Captain Anderson, you always seem to be involved when humanity makes false charges against me. And this must be your protege, Commander Shepard. The one who let the beacon get destroyed.
You're the one who destroyed the beacon. Then you tried to cover it up.
Shift the blame to cover your own failures. Just like Captain Anderson. He's taught you well. But what can you expect from a human?
Saren despises humanity. That's why he attacked Eden Prime.
Your species needs to learn its place, Shepard. You're not ready to join the Council. You're not even ready to join the Spectres.
He has no right to say that. That's not his decision.
Shepard's admission into the Spectres is not the purpose of this meeting.
This meeting has no purpose. The humans are wasting your time, Counselor, and mine.
Saren's hiding behind his position as a Spectre. You need to open your eyes.
What we need is evidence. So far, we've seen nothing.
There is still one outstanding issue. Commander Shepard's vision. It may have been triggered by the beacon.
Are we allowing dreams into evidence now? How can I defend my innocence against this kind of testimony?
I agree. Our judgment must be based on facts and evidence, not wild imaginings and reckless speculation.
Do you have anything else to add, Commander Shepard?
You've made your decision. I won't waste my breath.
The Council has found no evidence of any connection between Saren and the Geth. Ambassador, your petition to have him disbarred from the Spectres is denied.
I'm glad to see justice was served.
This
He
meeting is
sounds
adjourned.
like a villain.
Yeah. I always hate this scene every time I play through the game, though, because, like, they literally did just go up there with no evidence at all.
You and
It was
Saren
just
have
like,
too much history. It made the
these
Council
guys would be
question
too
our
smart for
motives.
that, you know? You would
I know, Saren.
look around and try and collect
He's
some
working with the Geth
evidence
for one
before
reason,
you
to
make those kind of
exterminate the entire human
accusations.
race. Every colony we have is at risk. Every world we control is in danger. Even Earth isn't safe.
Tell me about this history between you and Saren.
I worked with him on a mission a long time ago. Things went bad. Real bad. We shouldn't talk about this here. But I know what he's like. And he has to be stopped.
We need to deal with Saren ourselves.
As a Spectre, he's virtually untouchable. We need to find some way to expose him.
What about Garrus, that CSEC investigator? We saw him arguing with the Executor.
That's right. He was asking for more time to finish his report. Seems like he was close to finding something on Saren.
Any idea where we could find him?
I have a contact in CSEC who can help us track Garrus down. His name is Harkin.
Forget it. They suspended Harkin last month, drinking on the job. I won't waste my time with that loser.
You won't have to. I don't want the Council using your past history with Saren as an excuse to ignore anything we turn up. Shepard will handle this.
You can't just cut Captain Anderson out of this investigation.
The Ambassador's right. I need to step aside.
I need to take care of some business. Captain, meet me in my office later.
Harkin's probably getting drunk at Cora's Den. It's a dingy little club in the lower section of the wards.
Maybe there's another way to find evidence against Saren.
You should talk to Barla Vaughn over in the financial district. Rumor has it he's an agent for the Shadow Broker.
The Shadow Broker?
An information dealer.
Shadow.
Buys and sells secrets to the highest bidder. I've heard Barla Vaughn's one of the top representatives. He might know something about Saren, but his information won't come cheap.
Our ambassador doesn't seem to get along with the Council.
He's just frustrated. The Council's always preaching that we need to be part of the galactic community. But for them, it's a one-way street. They want us to expand and settle unstable regions like the Skillian Verge and the Attican Traverse. But when we run into trouble, they don't want to help us out. Everyone knows it's only a matter of time until we get a seat on the Council. The ambassador just thinks it should happen sooner rather than later. And I agree.
Who cares if we get a seat on the Council? What's the big deal?
If the Council passes a ruling on an interstellar matter, we have to follow it. We don't have the fleets or political allies to defy them. Once we get a seat on the Council, we'll be able to influence those rulings, protect our own interests. No more jumping through hoops whenever we want something. Take this mess we're in now. If humanity had a seat on the Council, we'd just send the Citadel fleet out to take care of Saren and his Geth. Problem solved.
You don't think much of Harkin.
The guy joined CSEC about 20 years ago. He's been an embarrassment to our species ever since. Roughing up suspects in custody, bribery accusations, alcohol and drug use. The embassy used to step in when he got in trouble. But I guess enough was enough.
The guy's a scumbag. He should have been cut loose a long time ago.
He was one of the first human CSEC officers. Guess it would have looked bad if he got fired. A lot of backroom deals were worked out over the years to keep him on the force. Politics is a dirty business sometimes, but it looks like his time's run out. We've got enough humans in CSEC now to stop protecting him.
I want to know more about the Spectres.
They're not your typical government agency. They tend to work alone, behind the scenes. They take care of problems the Council can't. It's not easy preserving peace across an entire galaxy. The Council prefers to use diplomacy and negotiation. But sometimes more extreme measures are needed.
How do they decide who becomes a Spectre?
You can't just apply to join. There's no training program. Spectres aren't made. They're born. The Council's always looking for exceptional individuals. People who can get the job done, like you. They've been watching you for years. They see something in you. They want you on their side. Nihilus was supposed to give them a final recommendation, but with him gone, things are still up in the air.
What's their command structure like?
There is no command structure. Each Spectre answers directly to the Council. Sometimes they're sent on specific missions. Other times, they act on their own. They tend to operate outside the law, do whatever it takes to accomplish their goals. The Council just turns a blind eye. Spectres have a lot of power, Shepard.
They sound like shadow operatives.
Everything about them is classified. We don't even know how many there are. The latest Alliance estimate puts their numbers under 100. But the Council couldn't do its job without them. They're the Citadel's top agents, the last line of defense, the final option before open war. The entire galaxy respects and fears them. If a Spectre shows up, you know something big is about to happen.
What happens when a Spectre goes rogue, like Saren?
It doesn't happen often. The Council is careful when they select their candidates. But when something does go wrong, there's usually only one solution. Send another Spectre to bring the rogue agent down.
Tell me more about the Shadow Broker.
He's a necessary evil of galactic politics. Buying and selling information is a part of the game, and the Shadow Broker just happens to be the best player on the field. Always sells to the highest bidder. Doesn't get involved in politics, doesn't pick sides. A simple system, but it works. He's not a threat to anyone, not directly. He's just a resource we can use, or she is. Or maybe they are. Nobody really knows.
Tell me about Barla Vaughn.
He specializes in moving large sums of money without leaving a paper trail. A financial genius. Doesn't do anything illegal, but he knows all the loopholes. He's got an impressive client list. Ambassadors, diplomats, Spectres. That's probably why the Shadow Broker uses him.
I should go.
Good luck, Shepard. I'll be over in the ambassador's office if you need anything else.
The Asari were the first species to discover the Citadel. When the Solarians arrived, it was the Asari who proposed the establishment of the Citadel Council to maintain peace throughout the galaxy. Since then, the Asari have served as the mediators and centrists of the Council. An all-female race, the Asari reproduce through a form of parthenogenesis. They can attune their nervous system to that of another individual of any gender and of any species to reproduce. This capability has led to the unseemly and inaccurate rumors about Asari promiscuity. Asari can live for over 1,000 years, passing through 3 stages of life. In the maiden stage, they wander restlessly, seeking new knowledge and experience. When the matron stage begins, they meld with interesting partners to produce their offspring. This ends when they reach the matriarch stage, where they assume the roles of leaders and counselors. The second species to join the Citadel, the Solarians, are warm-blooded amphibians with a hyperactive metabolism. Solarians think fast, talk fast, and move fast. To Solarians, other species seem sluggish and dull-witted. Unfortunately, their metabolic speed leaves them with a relatively short lifespan. Solarians over the age of 40 are a rarity. The Solarians were responsible for advancing the development of the primitive Krogan species to use as soldiers during the Rachni Wars. They were also behind the creation of the genophage bioweapon the Turians used to quell the Krogan rebellions several centuries later. Solarians are known for their observational capability and non-linear thinking. This manifests as an aptitude for research and espionage. They are constantly experimenting and inventing, and it is generally accepted that they always know more than they are letting on.
So, we have the 3 major council races here. The Asari, who live for like 1,000 years, and are the diplomats. The Solarians, who live for like 40 years, and they're like the scientists and the spies. And then the Turians, who are like a very militaristic and disciplined and honor-bound race, and they provide most of the military firepower for the Council. So they all kind of complement each other. Cover everyone's weaknesses. Alright. And now, the way this is all set up, there's a couple of different ways you can go that all end up leading you to the same end result, but you can start from like different ends of it to chase down this investigation. So it's alright, we got another elevator ride coming up, so you got time.
I can't believe the Council ignored all the evidence against Saren.
Saren's one of their best operatives. It's only natural they'd take his word over ours.
Oh, so now we just chase leads while this smug Turian runs around with his Geth troopers.
That's politics, Chief.
I hate politics.
Welcome to the Presidium. Allow me to be your guide.
What's this? One of the Earth Clan. Ah, a very famous one, yes? You are the one called Shepard. The tale of how you survived the great tragedy on Akuz is truly remarkable. I am amazed each time I hear it.
You've got me at a disadvantage here.
Forgive me, Earth Clan. My name is Barla Vaughn. My job makes it necessary for me to keep informed. I am a financial advisor to many important clients here on the Citadel. When someone as important as yourself arrives on the station, I take notice.
I've heard you work for the Shadow Broker. Do you have any information about Saren?
You're very blunt, Shepard. But you're right. I am an agent for the Shadow Broker. And I do know something about Saren.
I hear your information can be expensive.
Normally, this information would cost a small fortune. But these are exceptional circumstances. So I am going to give it to you for free.
What's the catch?
There is no catch. The Shadow Broker is quite upset with Saren right now. They used to do a lot of business until Saren turned on him.
Saren's turned on a lot of people lately.
I don't know the details, but the Shadow Broker hired a freelancer to deal with it. A Krogan mercenary.
How do I find him?
I heard he was paying Citadel security a visit. If you hurry, you can probably catch him before he leaves the C-Sec Academy.
Isn't it strange that a Krogan would want to speak with C-Sec?
Very. However, I doubt the visit was entirely his choice. You'll need to speak with him if you want to know more.
Tell me more about your job.
Galactic finance is incredibly complex. A mix of laws and regulations from dozens of interstellar economies. I'm an expert in how all these economies interact. For a fee, I share my expertise. I also offer premium services for those clients who need someone to conduct business without drawing unwanted attention. Discreet and efficient. That's my motto.
Sounds pretty shady.
Everything I do falls completely within the bounds of interstellar commerce law. Even so, many of my clients would prefer their transactions remain undisclosed. For example, suppose a Hanar ambassador was petitioning the Council to reduce tariffs on Hanar goods. How would it look if he had money invested in a Hanar exporting company? Even if his true motives were to help his people, he would be accused of advancing the petition for his own personal gain. I can keep his personal finances private.
Tell me more about the Shadow Broker.
Most people think I deal in finances, but my real currency is knowledge. I trade information, and it has made me very wealthy. But the Shadow Broker is the true master. Every day he buys and sells secrets that could topple governments, always giving them to the highest bidder. Yet somehow he never seems to upset the natural balance of power. All those secrets being passed around seem to even out. Nobody ends up with an advantage in the end.
Any guess what his identity might be?
I don't know. Nobody does. The Shadow Broker could be any race, any gender. I have a theory that it's actually an entire group working under one identity. How else could they juggle so many contacts at the same time? How else could they keep all that information from getting crossed? But they've got the perfect setup. Every government is forced to play their game so they don't get behind. But no matter how long you play, no matter how many secrets you buy, you can never win.
I thought you'd know more about the man you work for.
From time to time, I come across information I sell to the Shadow Broker. That's my only involvement. I like it that way. The more you know, the more dangerous the game becomes. I don't like danger, Commander. I'll leave that to you.
What's it like living here on the Citadel?
The station is without a doubt the greatest wonder in the galaxy. It is a technological marvel, but its true splendor goes much deeper than the hull and engines. From the Presidium to the wards, the entire station is a testament to the success of the Council. All the species of Citadel spaced together in a single, strong community.
What makes the Presidium so special?
It is the political center of Citadel space. 80% of all intelligent species in the known galaxy acknowledge the Council's authority on interstellar matters. But only the most powerful and influential species have embassies here on the Presidium. This level of the station is reserved for the elite, Shepard. People like us.
What are the wards like?
The cultural heart of the galaxy. They pulse with the lifeblood of millions of citizens from dozens of different species. You never know what you'll find down in the wards, Commander. It's always full of surprises. Fortunately, most of them are pleasant.
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
Alright, what did I miss?
So we went and talked to Bar Levon. This is the agent for the Shadow Broker. And he pointed us in the direction of a mercenary that the Shadow Broker hired to get information on Saren because Saren betrayed the Shadow Broker.
The Geth are the Krogan evolved in a hostile and
the
vicious
mercenary
environment.
is a Krogan.
Until the invention of gunpowder weapons, eaten by predators was still the #1 cause of Krogan fatalities. Afterwards, it was death by gunshot. When the Solarians discovered them, the Krogan were a brutal, primitive species, struggling to survive a self-inflicted nuclear winter. The Solarians culturally uplifted them, teaching them to use and build modern technology so they could serve as soldiers in the Rachni War. Liberated from the harsh conditions of their homeworld, the quick-breeding Krogan experienced an unprecedented population explosion. They began to colonize nearby worlds. Even though these worlds were already inhabited, the Krogan rebellions lasted nearly a century, only ending when the Turians unleashed the Genophage, a Solarian-developed bioweapon that crushed all Krogan resistance. The Genophage makes only 1 in 1,000 pregnancies viable, and today, the Krogan are a slowly dying breed. Understandably, the Krogan harbor a grudge against all other species, especially the Turians.
James said, man, you're really grilling this little guy.
Yeah, that conversation with Bar Levon can go on for a long time, because he tells you a lot about the Citadel and the Shadow Broker, and explaining the relationship between the Shadow Broker and Saren, and there's a lot going on there. And so I deliberately went this way because the mercenary that we're going to run into is Rex, who becomes one of your party members, is awesome, and I wanted to get to him first. This is the Hanar that I was talking about.
You're creating a public disturbance. It's against Citadel regulations.
Oh, we're going to skip this mission for now.
This one is unsure why the other would not wish word of the inhibitors to be spread.
In light of the recent attack on Eden Prime, many colonial investors are pulling their support for future projects. Proponents of expanded human colonization insist that Eden Prime was an isolated case. Nevertheless, colonist enrollment has dropped sharply. Many colonial proposals are on hold until backers have some reassurance that human colonies will be adequately protected.
Do you really think we'll find him down here?
He always stops in for a few games of Quasar before he makes his drop.
Fist is gonna be pissed if we take down his supplier.
That's the point. We want him angry. Angry people make mistakes.
There's just something about Fist that makes me nervous.
Good. He's a dangerous man. Now keep your eyes peeled for our mark.
Now, we were on the Presidium, which is where the embassies and all the high rollers are. Now we're heading down to the wards, which is where all the normal people, the lowly peons, live on the Presidium.
The excavation team has appealed to Hanar representatives on the Citadel to reach a diplomatic solution.
Yeah, it's the one constant.
Big place.
That your professional opinion, sir?
This isn't a station. It's a city.
There must be millions here. It can't be possible to track everyone coming and going.
This makes Jump Zero look like a porta-john, and it's the largest deep space station the Alliance has.
Jump Zero is big, but this is a whole nother scale. Look at the ward arms. How do they keep all that mass from flying apart?
The Council represents more races than I thought. No wonder they're careful with newcomers.
They probably just want to keep everything running. It has to be hard keeping all these cultures working together.
Or maybe they just don't like humans.
Why not? We've got oceans, beautiful women, this emotion called love. According to the old vids, we have everything they want.
If you expect to get me in a tinfoil miniskirt and thigh-high boots, I want dinner first. Sir.
That will be enough, Chief.
All right, enough chatter. Let's move out, people.
Aye, aye, Commander.
You can take that a more flirtatious route, but I'm not trying to romance Ashley this time around, so. A long empty corridor to another elevator.
Binary Helix has settled out of court with a Krogan group that had accused the Genetics Corporation of fraud. The Krogan group had contracted Binary Helix to perform studies with a long-range goal of curing their genetic sterilization. The group later sued for a return of investment money when the study produced no viable results.
Witnesses saw you making threats in Fist's bar. Stay away from him.
I don't take orders from you.
This is your only warning, Rex.
You should warn Fist. I will kill him.
Sound like John
You
Goodman.
want me to arrest you?
I want you to try.
Not so much now, never mind.
Go on. Get out of here.
Yes, human.
I'm trying to bring down Saren. Barlavon said to talk to you.
Barlavon is a wise man. We may share a common goal, human.
Enlighten me.
I've been hired to kill the owner of Cora's Den, a man named Fist. He did something very foolish.
He betrayed the Shadow Broker.
A Quarian showed up here on the Citadel. She was on the run. She wanted to trade information for a safe place to hide, so she went to Fist. He promised to arrange a meeting between her and the Shadow Broker. Instead, he contacted Saren.
What does Saren have to do with this?
Well, the Quarian has something that connects Saren to the Geth. He paid Fist a small fortune for her.
If we get our hands on that evidence, we can prove that Saren's a traitor. And the Council will have to listen to us.
Where's the Quarian now?
Last I heard, Fist still had her. Probably somewhere inside his club. You help me kill Fist, she's all yours.
I want to know more about your employer.
Can't tell you much. All I got was a coded message with the details of the job. Standard procedure.
What about Garrus, that Turian? He wants to take Saren down too.
He might come in handy.
He was here just before you showed up. Said he was going to follow up a lead on his investigation. Wanted to speak to the doctor at the med clinic.
Move out.
Oh. Sorry, Caden, but I'm taking the big giant tank instead of you.
I like his, just his overall design.
Yeah, Rex is one of the best characters. And one of the major reasons to start a playthrough on this game, because he can die in this game, so he doesn't show up in 2 and 3 if you don't import a save.
Oh.
He does if you... He can die or he can live. So if you just start 2 and 3 on their own, unless you do... I think you could probably save him in the comic thing, but otherwise it just assumes he's dead.
The Geth. Driven from their home system by the Geth nearly 3 centuries ago, most Quarians now live aboard the Migrant Fleet, a flotilla of 50,000 vessels ranging in size from passenger shuttles to mobile space stations. Home to 17 million Quarians, the flotilla understandably has scarce resources. Because of this, each Quarian must go on a rite of passage known as the Pilgrimage when they come of age. They leave the fleet and only return once they have found something of value they can bring back to their people. Other species tend to look down on the Quarians for creating the Geth, and for the negative impact their fleet has when it enters a system. This has led to many myths and rumors about the Quarians, including the belief that underneath their clothes and breathing masks, they are actually cybernetic creatures, a combination of organic and synthetic parts.
And now that we know where to go, back down to the woods to go take out Fist.
500 to see the Ascension from the inside out.
Really?
Took almost 6 hours and we only saw 1/10 of the ship. I even got to meet the commander.
Matriarch Ladanya. You met her?
Well, she addressed everyone on the tour, but I got pretty close to her.
Huh, just look at that ship. You'd have to be stupid to mess with that.
Very true. She's got almost as much firepower as the rest of the Asari fleet combined.
Hopefully, she'll never need to use it.
Commander Shepard? Excuse me, Commander Shepard! I'm Emily Wong. I'm an investigative journalist working here on the Citadel. Could I have a moment of your time?
What do you need?
I've been hunting for evidence of corruption and organized crime on the Citadel, but there are places I can't go. I was hoping you might share anything you find during your own investigation. I can make it worth your time.
How do you know that my investigation is going to uncover anything you need?
You wouldn't be investigating if it weren't big. And if it's big, it's something I'd like to hear about.
You've got to have access to better sources. Why contact me?
I'm using every source I can find, but I think I've got a better shot with you. According to your file, you survived back on Akuz when everyone else in your squad got killed. If anyone can find the worst elements of the Citadel and live to tell about it, it's you.
How do you know I'm investigating anything here on the Citadel?
I'm a good journalist, Commander Shepard. Word gets around.
No promises. But if I find anything relating to your case, I'll inform you.
Thank you, Commander. You won't regret it.
Sell this mod.
Look, I know it was you. I remember your face.
Really, that's impressive. Usually you humans can't tell one Turian from another.
This was the place. Now, are you gonna give me a refund or not?
Do you have your proof of purchase?
What? No, I don't think you ever gave me one.
I'm sorry. I can't.
But, what do you...
Can't help you.
Is that really... What? You're Commander Shepard, the hero of Eden Prime. I am so honored to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And you are?
My name is Conrad. Conrad Werner. They say you killed more than 100 Geth on Eden Prime.
They say a lot of things. I was too busy killing them to count.
Hey, I know you're probably busy, but do you have time for a quick autograph?
Here you go.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. My wife is going to be so impressed. I'll let you get back to work. But next time you're on Earth, I'd love to buy you a drink. Thanks again!
That is not the end of that story.
There's like so many like tiny little splintering storylines. Just about everything has some kind of point to it.
Pretty much.
Fist.
Oh, music's getting louder. About to get real.
Just gonna put our helmets back on because that makes more sense. They're stupid enough to get in our way.
Enemies everywhere!
Of course.
Kansas 190, Trump 186.
I'm on it!
Right?
Locked and loaded.
I mean, it is a contest between the two least likable and like most corrupt people ever, so
Stop right there. Don't come any
no
closer.
result should really be a
Warehouse
surprise.
workers. All the real guards must be dead.
Stay back or we'll shoot.
This would be a good time to find somewhere else to work.
Yeah, right. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I never liked Fist anyway.
It would have been quicker to just kill them.
Shooting people isn't always the answer.
Not gonna lie, Nax looks a little creepy.
Yeah.
It makes it look like a onesie. Like he's just like a little snoop.
Why do I have to do everything myself?
Enemies everywhere!
Wait! Don't kill me, I surrender!
Where's the Quarian?
She's not here. I don't know where she is. That's the truth.
He's no use to you now. Let me kill him.
Wait, I don't know where the Quarian is, but I know where you can find her. The Quarian isn't here. Said she'd only deal with the Shadow Broker himself.
Face to face? Impossible. Even I was hired through an agent.
Nobody meets the Shadow Broker, ever. Even I don't know his true identity. But she didn't know that. I told her I'd set a meeting up. But when she shows up, it'll be Saren's men waiting for her.
Give me the location. Now.
Here on the wards, the back alley by the markets. She's supposed to meet them right now. You can make it if you hurry.
Drop the gun, Krogan.
The Shadow Broker paid me to kill him. I don't leave jobs half done.
We don't shoot unarmed prisoners.
How many people died because of him? He brought this on himself. Besides, we have more pressing concerns.
That Quarian's dead if we don't go now.
I never did expect to see on last week's episode of Skylands After Hours. I put the microphone close to him while he was snoring. I never did check to see if
Level up.
Did you bring it?
Where's the Shadow Broker? Where's Fist?
They'll be here. Where's the evidence?
No way. The deal's off.
Come on, seriously, can one of you guys please shoot this guy? He overheated my gun, but...
Fist set me up. I knew I couldn't trust him.
Got a hell of a name.
Were you hurt in the fight?
I know how to look after myself. Not that I don't appreciate the help. Who are you?
My name's Shepard. I'm looking for evidence to prove Saren's a traitor.
Then I have a chance to repay you for saving my life. But not here. We need to go somewhere safe.
The ambassador's office. It's safe there. He'll want to see this anyway.
You're not making my life easy, Shepard. Firefights in the wards, an all-out assault on Korra's den. Do you know how many...
Who's this? A Quarian? What are you up to, Shepard?
Making your day, Ambassador. She has information linking Saren to the Geth.
Really? Maybe you better start at the beginning, Miss...
My name is Tali. Tali Zora Naraya.
We don't see many Quarians here. Why did you leave the flotilla?
I was on my pilgrimage. My rite of passage into adulthood.
I've never heard of this before.
It is a tradition among my people. When we reach maturity, we leave the ships of our parents and our people behind. Alone, we search the stars, only returning to the flotilla once we have discovered something of value. In this way, we prove ourselves worthy of adulthood.
What kinds of things do you look for?
It could be resources like food or fuel, or some type of useful technology, or even knowledge that will make life easier on the flotilla. Through our pilgrimage, we prove that we will contribute to the community, rather than being a burden on our limited resources.
Tell us what you found.
Sounds like something we could use here.
Reports of Geth. Since they drove my people into exile, the Geth have never ventured beyond the Veil. I was curious. I tracked a patrol of Geth to an uncharted world. I waited for one to become separated from its unit. Then I disabled it and removed its memory core.
I thought the Geth fried their memory cores when they died. Some kind of defense mechanism.
How did you manage to preserve the memory core?
My people created the Geth. If you're quick, careful, and lucky, small caches of data can sometimes be saved. Most of the core was wiped clean, but I salvaged something from its audio banks.
Eden Prime was a major victory. The beacon has brought us one step closer to finding the conduit.
That's Saren's voice. This proves he was involved in the attack.
He said Eden Prime brought him one step closer to finding the conduit. Any idea what that means?
The conduit must have something to do with the beacon. Maybe it's some kind of Prothean technology. Like a weapon.
Wait, there's more. Saren wasn't working alone.
Eden Prime was a major victory. The beacon has brought us one step closer to finding the conduit.
And one step closer to the return of the Reapers.
I don't recognize that other voice, the one talking about Reapers.
I feel like I've heard that name before.
According to the memory core, the Reapers were a hyper-advanced machine race that existed 50,000 years ago. The Reapers hunted the Protheans to total extinction, and then they vanished. At least, that's what the Geth believe.
Sounds a little far-fetched.
The vision on Eden Prime. I understand it now. I saw the Protheans being wiped out by the Reapers.
The Geth revere the Reapers as gods, the pinnacle of non-organic life. And they believe Saren knows how to bring the Reapers back.
The Council is just going to love this.
This is a lot to handle. They might just ignore everything we tell them.
No matter what they think about the rest of this, those audio files prove Saren's a traitor.
The Captain's right. We need to present this to the Council right away.
What about her, the Quarian?
My name is Tali. You saw me in the alley, Commander. You know what I can do. Let me come with you.
I thought you were on your pilgrimage.
The pilgrimage proves we are willing to give of ourselves for the greater good. What does it say about me if I turn my back on this? Saren is a danger to the entire galaxy. My pilgrimage can wait.
I'll take all the help I can get.
Thanks.
Even though I
You
will
won't regret this.
never be using you because you are the
Henderson
same
and
class
I
as
will
me,
go ahead to get things ready with
and
the
we don't need two engineers in the same
Take a
party.
few minutes to collect yourself, then meet us in the tower.
But,
friends are friends.
but yes, you will be very useful. Alright, you wanna call it for tonight? We can have the big climax of this first story arc next time.
Alright guys, as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Nack's Full Frontal Attack on all social media outlets and on eBay. There's a lot of cool stuff up there right now. As I mentioned this morning, and I'll continue to mention it throughout the week, be sure to get your votes in for what's going to happen with the Applemon Digimon chip packs. You can place votes on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And be sure to check out the Daily Grind weekdays from 8 to 8:30, roughly, and
Approximately.
And Skylands After Hours on Thursday nights, starting at 8. And as you've seen, this is Nack Presents, which is regularly on Tuesday nights at 8, at 8, multiple 8s. And yeah, catch us then, any of those times, and
This has been like the longest outro ever.
I know, right? I always like goof on these. Be sure to check out all of our social media jazz. It's in the box below where you're watching right now, and follow us here on Twitch too, because that always helps. And we'll see you next week for the next chapter of Mass Effect.
This. I guess I could have pulled that up before.